Yeah, very happy overall. Obviously, it's a massive step what we've done tonight. Put us in a really strong position before we play the last game in Girona, and overall scoring 3 goals, created plenty of chances, dominated the game, and don't concede the shots, and another clean sheet at home. So overall, very happy. We made certain changes from freshness to give minutes to certain players that they fully deserve them as well. We had some setbacks yesterday as well with the players that we could use tonight. 3 of them that they were on the 2 of them they were on the bench, but not ready to be used as well. So good that we won it and enjoy it, and then let's go to Wolves.
Right, so things are looking good for Arsenal, aren't they, after they won their 5th game in this year's Champions League. It takes a bit of time to get your head around this, doesn't it? But automatic qualification also brings another added bonus, Pete.
Yeah, because with no playoff and because they've already been knocked out of the FA Cup, Arsenal potentially have a 10-day gap in the middle of February, meaning that they're potentially going to head on warm weather training to Dubai.
Lovely. It's also prompted this exchange between Arteta and our reporter, Gary Cottrell.
I know you've just literally come off the pitch, done interviews and come in here, and you're not a mathematician, but Opta...
You don't know that.
Well, you need to be. But Opta, who are, say that Arsenal are 100% sure to be in the round of 16. So I don't know, you don't know, but it sounds pretty promising. Does that mean you can go ahead and speak to the travel agents about a warm weather break?
I'm going to ask Opta to speak to them. I think that's a better idea.
So potentially some warm weather training for Arsenal.
Matheus Cunha. This is what he had to say this afternoon.
I don't know anything about that. How can I comment about that? I'm so sorry to disappoint you. The ambition is not measured by that. The ambition is the way we operate, the way we want to improve ourselves as a team. Because if we improve as a team, the club will be better to the challenge that we have ahead of us. The ambition is measured, but how we are doing and what we want to achieve.
So Nuno's not saying too much, but it feels like we're going to be talking about Cunha for the rest of this window. Would you agree, James?
Well, from Wolves' point of view, he's not for sale. They're adamant he's not for sale, but we know 5 Premier League clubs, including Arsenal, are interested in signing him. And why wouldn't you be? He's been sensational for Wolves this season. He's not signed that new contract yet. We understand Wolves are quite relaxed about that. It's thought that a fee of around £60 million could potentially bring Wolves to the table. That could be something they could be interested in. The issue is Wolves are just above the relegation zone on goal difference. He's going to be a key part in whether or not they stay in the Premier League. So that's going to be the argument that Wolves will be having with themselves internally right now, because if Cunha stays, there's a good chance they can stay in the top flight. If he goes, their chances diminish massively. They're under no financial pressure to sell because of the work they've done in the summer, selling the likes of Max Kilman and Pedro Neto. So they're in quite a good position right now. But if a huge deal, an offer comes in January, it would be very hard to turn it down, you'd think, because there's good money on the table. He's a player that you think would need to be playing for an elite club.
His boss criticised him for his attitude, his body language this week. Do you think his head's been turned, Mark?
Of course. When you get spoken about and linked to some of the big clubs in the Premier League, and there is potentially 2 or 3 or 4 times the salary on the table, and you're in a relegation fight, there's no question that you'll be looking and thinking, maybe it's time for me to move on. Is this an opportunity I need to explore and look at? There was a lot of talk at the start of the window that Wolves were confident they'd get him to sign a new contract. Obviously, that looks far from happening at this stage. And with any player, he's a human being at the end of the day. So when you get linked to the big club, your head's going to be turned.
Yeah, indeed. All right, let's talk Manchester United again. Let's go back to United. Feels like there's quite a lot to be sorted out for them. Let's just run through these. Mark, if you start with Marcus Rashford on the end there.
Yeah, we got some information earlier on this afternoon on Sky Sports News with regards to any potential move to Barcelona, which we are being told is receding by the day. That's because the sporting director at Barcelona, Deco, has said the most important thing is contract renewals. Now, we know that Barcelona are under really difficult financial parameters. They're struggling to register the players that they already have, let alone signing new players. So therefore, any potential deal would have to be something that suits them financially. And we know that Marcus Rashford is on huge wages. So therefore, Manchester United would have to pay a big chunk of that to facilitate any move over to Barcelona. Obviously, it looks unlikely at this stage that anything could potentially happen. But we know that his representatives have met a number of clubs in Europe as they continue to explore any potential move to make in this January window.
OK, James, we've already covered Garnacho. What about Patrick Dorgu here?
Well, United's director of negotiations, Matt Hargreaves, was in Milan speaking to Lecce about a potential deal. We understand Lecce very unwilling to sell in this transfer window, but they're bracing themselves for a bid from Manchester United. They're looking for something around £38 million. We think United's opening offer or opening exchange when they've been negotiating, they want to look at around £30 million top, and that including the bonuses. Left back is a real priority area for Manchester United in this window. I think if you ask Ruben Amorim, you can sign one player, one position in this transfer window. It would be a left wing back. They've had Diego Dallo playing out of position on the left-hand side. Tara Malacia is just regaining match sharpness after being out for more than a year. Luke Shaw not playing much football over the course of the last few seasons. They look unbalanced on the left-hand side. They need a left back in. That's a priority position for Manchester United. But Dorgu wants the move, we understand. Two other players United have made checks on, Tyrick Mitchell at Palace and Ryan Aït-Nouri at Wolves. But it looks like Dorgu is the man they really want in this transfer window. OK, and what about Anthony, Mark?
Yeah, just waiting for official...
Mark Anthony, yeah, OK, fine. Yeah.
Just waiting for official confirmation on this one. Real Betis loan, all agreed. Just waiting for the final contract to be signed off and Real Betis to say, yep, he's our man for the rest of the season.
Can't be a bit of Shakespeare referencing on the transfer show. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, loads to discuss. We'll talk Arsenal, West Ham as they close in on a striker. Could it be one in and one out at Celtic? Well, it might be. Stay with us.
Kai Havertz sends a clear message to Arsenal's Benjamin Sesko amid Mikel Arteta's transfer plans. Kai Havertz's recent contributions for Arsenal in Europe served as a vivid reminder to Mikel Arteta of the challenges facing Benjamin Sesko's potential move to North London. To summarise Havertz's past fortnight would be an understatement. It's been a journey of highs and lows, culminating in a resurgence that's turning heads, especially among those willing to reconsider their perspectives. The calls for Arsenal to sign a striker in this transfer window can lead to some peculiar conclusions. If you scroll through any prominent social media post covering Havertz's recent goals or assists, you'll inevitably encounter opinions suggesting a sudden shift in the club's transfer strategy. Sometimes, the allure of a shiny new toy overshadows what's right before our eyes. Arteta has been keen to remind me that we must look beyond the surface of Havertz's recent achievements. With 14 goals in 30 matches this season, 22 games faster than last year, it's an impressive statistic. However, Arteta challenged me with a thought-provoking question. What does that really show? Caught off guard, I replied simply, it shows he's improving. But Arteta was quick to clarify. Sometimes, it reflects the perspective against reality. What he meant is that Havertz's perspective has diverged from what we're seeing on the pitch, not just recently but over the past 18 months. Yes, his mistakes against Newcastle and Manchester United were costly and fell short of what's expected from an Arsenal striker. However, the backlash he and his wife faced, culminating in the arrest of a 17-year-old for malicious communications, was wholly unwarranted. He rebounded with a strong goal against Aston Villa, finishing powerfully from a fierce cross by Leandro Trossard. Then, in the match against Dinamo Zagreb, he deftly assisted Declan Rice within minutes. His goal showcased the kind of finishing we can anticipate from strikers under Arteta, a powerful header, soaring above defenders, bending towards the 6-yard box rather than away from it. But what about the potential of a new player to rival Havertz for that role? The term rival carries weight, as it's no formality for someone like Benjamin Sesko to seamlessly slot into the Arsenal lineup if the club invests significantly in him this winter or summer. Fans might expect that to happen, but we know that securing a starting position involves a great deal of competition, especially mid-season. Havertz is on track for a season exceeding 20 goals. Nonetheless, even prior to Gabriel Jesus' injury, there was a need for more depth. When Havertz falls short, having someone ready to step in and eventually take over becomes crucial. For me, Sesko represents that potential. A young talent with a price tag comparable to Havertz, he has stepped up impressively for Austria against Germany, maintaining a strong performance. However, RB Leipzig is unlikely to let him go easily, especially with coach Marco Rose indicating that he doesn't expect to lose the Slovenian international. But in football, money talks. If Arsenal wants him and is willing to pay, there's a good chance he'll make the move. For Havertz, this means not just facing competition for the centre-forward role. His skill set allows Arteta to deploy him in various positions. For instance, Martin Degaard hasn't had the best season due to injury and illness, and with Ethan Nwaneri sidelined and Emile Smith-Rowe and Fabio Vieira out on loan, Arteta has had to utilise Leandro Trossard in different roles. Havertz could certainly fill that gap. He might even partner with Degaard if Arteta opts for a more attacking midfield setup to challenge opponents who play deep. What truly concerns me is the black and white perspective on modern footballers. Players are seldom viewed as simply good. It's always an extreme, either a star or a scapegoat, the butt of the joke. This isn't reflective of reality. Player quality exists on a spectrum. Is Havertz an elite forward? I'm not convinced, though he has numbers that could support that argument if he or his advocates chose to make it. However, he isn't putting up the figures of some of Europe's best strikers. Fans understandably yearn for Arsenal to have their own Erling Haaland, Robert Lewandowski, or Harry Kane. Let's be honest, that's the dream. Yet, those players rarely enter the market. The closest might be Alexander Isak at Newcastle, who would come with a price tag Arsenal isn't realistically willing to meet anytime soon. Thus, the club must chart another path to elite status by identifying talent before it reaches that level, hence, the discussion around Sesko. So, go after him, but let's not overlook Havertz and remember his importance, as he reminded us once again on another European night.